political officer, I thumbs down this release of Twitch.
Nuclear launch detected.
Okay, brilliant. Hello everybody, and welcome to House Rebels. We're back. It feels like it's been forever. It's only been a month. But yeah, we are back once again playing the House Rebels Adventure Path on Pathfinder, raising money for AKT, charity dedicated to preventing LGBT homelessness, supporting LGBT youth to have safe households and refuges. Definitely a good cause. It's been a while. How's everyone doing?
Still alive.
Still alive. All right. Cool. Let's get into it then. When last we left off in the beautiful city-state of Kintargo that is under martial law by the tyrannical Barzillai Thrune as the new Lord Mayor. The Silver Ravens have been, at this point, slowly but surely moving from strength to strength. They've established their first base as the Wasp Nest underneath a certain coffee house. And they have been slowly but surely making a reputation for themselves, gaining notoriety, both positive and negative, and gaining allies is the most important thing. Their most recent venture was attempting to ally with the Paralictor of the Order of the Torrent, the very small Hell Knight Order based in Kintargo, which is an order dedicated to rescuing refugees and those kidnapped, enslaved, doing good work, which is something you don't hear very often Hell Knights do. But here we are. These Hell Knights have now been declared as outlaws by Barzillai Thrune. What a shocker. Their holdings taken and given to the new Order of the Rack, who have just moved in. Boo, for that indeed. And the Silver Ravens have managed to find an ally with Octavio Sabinus, the Paralictor of the Order of the Torrent, after they were able to rescue the imprisoned armigers of the Order. Imprisoned in the holding house, where our own Gideon reunited with an old friend. But as they were leaving, as they were celebrating and settling down in order to work out what to do next, we ended the last session with Sebastian going off to go and buy every copy of the books and writings of a bunch of different poets and writers possible, as he heard about a new proclamation, the 10th proclamation of Barzillai Thrune, which is to say that possession of poetry or prose written by the following authors is forbidden and punishable by a fine of 100 gold pieces or imprisonment. And the authors were Boswith the Bard, Charletta de Vanep, Granrail of Vire, and the anonymous miscreant who calls themselves the Poison Pen of Kintargo. All documents bearing the writings of these miscreants must be turned over to the Datari for destruction by sundown. So I'm going to say that Sebastian and Wist are off preserving history, while you guys can work out what you're doing next. They are off screen, salvaging the writings of those various poets and writers, both historical and current, potentially, before the Tatari burn them all.
going into the local Waterstones, just buying all of the smut.
Yeah, basically. That's exactly what Sebastian's doing. We knew, and he's going to be leaving pictures of Abigail behind because we're sticking to that meme.
That's Sebastian's like normal night. So
It's a Shayla Knight miracle.
So, as you guys, what do you guys want to do? You have the whole city, and currently, nothing immediately on the calendar in terms of that kind of stuff. I know that you guys have been needing to do some shopping because you did get some loot. I don't remember how much of that I sorted, so I may start doing that if you guys want to work out what you want to do next.
so oh,
That's it's profiling of you to say that, but it is a correct answer.
Look, you guys are soon to have a regular place because the Tooth and Nail, which is Citrona's Inn, is currently being home to Emily, who seems to have taken up residence there for at least a temporary nature until she gets back on her feet, from the looks of things. So at least one of you is going to be at the Tooth and Nail for a little while, methinks.
Yeah, Aurora.
fine. I guess I'll go to the Tooth and Nail, and you can go to that one clothing shop I like.
No, avoid. I mean, I'd like to do some community stuff around the tiefling bit. I've completely forgotten everything to do with this campaign.
The Devil's Nursery.
Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can go over to the Devil's Nursery. You may see Asmoth around. He may help you. He may be doing his own thing.
Oh, hey, I see Asmoth, and it's just a dark, shadowy alleyway where he just sat there like.
So Gideon, is this when you say you're off doing community work? Is this just you helping out the tieflings in the area for the day? Cool.
So, like, I think a lot of the current stuff has been kind of like building more of a sense of solidarity in the nursery by doing stuff around kind of basic survival, but like I'd like to try and kind of get started on building additional neighborhood amenities
Okay.
that aren't necessarily just stuff like this is like a kitchen that will like serves like nourishing food, you know, something like maybe a library or
Okay.
something that like inhabitants can help enrich themselves with.
Okay. So you already. So just remind people, you have Zia, who leads your soup kitchen in the Devil's Nursery. Which some of your Silver Raven Treasury funds have been funneled into this project. So Zia is still probably very much leading that, but I think at this point, because that was a little while ago, the soup kitchen is now completely up and running. So if you want to grab her or grab some others in the area to start setting up something like that, then that is definitely something you can start looking into. You can at the very least start scouting out a good spot or building, maybe. I'll say for that, if you want that to be where you're starting with this, I'm just gonna have a quick look at what your skills are, if that's okay. Thank you.
Like I have very bad charisma, but I do have a desire to do things. So
Yeah.
so it's very much I'm not necessarily the face of
No,
anything.
you don't have ranks in that. That's fine.
Like I probably one of the possible ways I think I'd sort of imagine doing it is setting up a sort of non-denominational shrine of some kind.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like rather than having it being dedicated to a specific god, just have it be like the equivalent of a little town hall that
Okay.
has like maybe an offering section, and it then just becomes like a place where everybody can kind of come, talk, spend time, have meetings,
Oh.
discuss things that need to be done.
Yeah. What I'll say is that the building you've currently got set up for the soup kitchen is probably the one that's got the most investment into it. But it won't be the only, like, it'll be basically one building in like a full terrace of other buildings. Or a series of terrace buildings, like terrace house style. So you could, and you probably picked a fairly like central area for that soup kitchen, so it could be easily found and things. So you can definitely spend the day starting to set up like get things together for a non-denominational shrine. Trying to think, how are you picturing the shrine, best case scenario?
Like I'm picturing it kind of like, do you know those next to churches, like Church of
Mm.
England churches, you had those church halls that you'd get like guide and scout groups using.
Oh yeah, them.
Like just to kind of what basically one of those that kind of has like a decent amount of space, like put a bunch of like chairs in, some tables,
Okay.
and then like the purpose is definitely, I guess, more for community than religiosity.
Okay, I will say at this point in time, the Devil's Nursery, because it's basically a slums, doesn't have that kind of building, or doesn't have that kind of building already. So if you want to,
I'd like to build it.
you want to basically build that then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what I'll say then probably is I'm gonna mark the soup kitchen as complete. I'm gonna set this as building a community hall in the Devil's Nursery. For shrine. Da, 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 da. For shrine and kind of, like safety and community purposes. I'm gonna probably give that another 2 weeks for it to complete again, but you can definitely, I'd say today, scout out a site in order to do it and basically start liaising with the contacts you've already made here in order to start getting that up and running, with the idea being that in 2 weeks there will be then a town hall with like a shrine and kind of a space for people to be able to come together and work on helping each other out, kind of thing. So yeah, you can definitely get that started today. While you do, just because people talk just in the air, do you want to just quick make a perception check for me, just to see if you pick up on anything? Just, you're going about the day regardless, like you are going to be able to do this.
27.
Oh, fantastic. Cool. I'm going to give you a little rumor that you pick up on you hear about another murder victim discovered somewhere near the south wall in Old Kintargo, slashed up the same way that Professor Mangvoon carved up his victims back in the day.
I will make sure to pass that on whenever we all have a moment. But yeah, cool.
I'm gonna just quickly pop that in the chat so you guys can see.
I can't believe it's not Jack the Ripper.
What? Jack the Ripper in this game? Surely not. There you go.
I am, in terms of funds for materials, I'm happy to forego my share of the cash portion of our loot from the last session.
If you want to do that, you can. I will say that you can use treasury funds for the Silver Raven treasury funds can be funneled into this. The amount of Silver Raven allies and operatives that you have that are from the Devil's Nursery is not an insignificant number, so you can probably funnel those funds into this just so that you don't lose out on your loot.
Yeah, but it's 100 and something gold. I'm happy to put my money where my mouth is.
Okay, we'll have a look at where your loot lands once I calculate all the numbers, and then we'll see about that. But regardless, I'm happy to say that the rebellion covers the foot fees. All right, so that is Gideon's plan of attack for at least a day, maybe a day or two. What's everyone else doing?
I'm busy doing maths in the background because we're looking to sell the loot that we're not using. So
Cool. Okay.
Albert
Well,
is-
I'll
while
sort that out in the
while
background.
while the player does that, while the player does maths, Asmos or Evie?
Asmoth's probably going to resign himself back to the lab and the clinic and just kind of carried on working there.
Okay.
There
is a big hubbub in the nursery at the moment, and when you look out the window, you see a bunch of your rebellion operatives and Gideon causing a stir, not in a bad way, just doing Gideon.
There's excitement, and I find that disgusting.
I figured.
No, so probably sort of at least keep tabs on that, if not exactly going out myself and sorting it, using the network of the various sort of tiefling snoops, rather than they're not really spies, are they? They're all the various tiefling informants.
Mm-hmm.
To keep an ear out for anything going on, find out exactly what Gideon's up to in my neighborhood.
All right.
Stuff like that.
Okay, cool. You go back to your clinic. You're cleaning everything up. You're cleaning up your lab probably because you did a bunch of alchemy stuff recently, brewing a bunch of potions and stuff, and you got to keep that stuff clean. Otherwise, you don't want problems. You know what happens when all of your humans get messed up. You don't want to risk that. So you're cleaning all that up. You're keeping an ear out on what Gideon's doing. You very quickly hear talk about something about a hall, and Gideon and Zia both making a suggestion about an old abandoned, fairly derelict building. Most of the buildings around here are derelict, but one of the bigger derelict buildings, which seems to be the focus of most of their attention. And some sort of hall or shrine or something seems to be what you get back. Which does actually get you get a couple of your informers talking about the idea of a shrine in the nursery, and a couple of them talking about needing to be careful about just leaving shrines just willy-nilly everywhere, especially if they're not to a person. You're in a city where the Church of Asmodeus is the official religion, and these guys are talking about all sorts of devil cults operating in the shadows, and with leaders just walking around pretending to be normal folk. If any of them gets their hands on a undetermined shrine and starts trying to twist it, who knows what they'll try and spread in the nursery. So definitely need to be careful. As you hear another little rumor going around. Because I haven't delivered any rumors. So you're getting them all now. Will you stop doing that? All right. Yep. So while those two are in the Devil's Nursery doing their various stuff, is math still happening?
Maths is nearly done.
Maths is nearly done. Fantastic. Evie!
So
What
you,
you doing?
you want to know what? Let me just see. Ooh, that's for everyone. I choose to do chaos.
Of course you choose chaos. That's so predictable of you.
Don't make me choose not to. Hang on, wait, no, this is a classic GM ploy. I think
I'm
Evie's
very
just like,
lawful of you.
Evie's like, that was a good prison break, but it wasn't really a good enough prison break. So Evie's gonna go and scout out the local prison, as in the actual prison.
Oh, you want to go to Castle Kintargo?
Maybe.
Okay, hang on a second.
Uh-oh. She has a map available. Oh no.
Hang on. Okay. So, for reference, for everybody here, when you go onto the map, you're in Southern Kintargo. All of your O's are Old Kintargo. The J's are Jarvis End. This little corner up here is the Castle District. The entire city already is filled with the Tari Guards, the Chadish Citizens Militia. You see a few members of the Order of the Rack starting to mill around. Not mill around, but like they're starting to pop up in a couple of prominent places. Evie, before you do anything, the second you come within let's see. You can come up this one street in Jarvis End, which is the heart of Kintargo's nightlife, for reference. You avoid actually no, never mind. This includes the Opera House. Barzillai Thrune is staying in the Opera House. You are in You are in Jarvis End, looking straight up at the castle, and it feels like every fourth person acting as guard or militia is Order of the Rat. The closer you get
Well
to the
then.
castle.
Think. I'm not good, so they can't detect good on me. I mean, I'll have I'll go out in my noble regalia and
Right.
have
You
a
switch your sleeves.
and have a old-fashioned wander. Get out my parasol.
I need you to describe your noble regalia for me, please.
It is the what colours does Asmodeus use? It'd probably be red and black, right?
It is red and black.
Okay, so it's bright red with black trim, and like I think it's one of those sort of very fancy, over the top dresses. And like if someone is paying attention, they will notice that there are several like Asmodeus symbols in various places, but they're like pseudo hidden.
How are the Asmodeus symbols put onto this dress?
You're gonna have to repeat. You
How are the Asmodeus symbols put onto this dress?
stitched in.
Are you okay? Are you asking to be arrested right now?
No. It's funny though, but no.
Okay, cool, fantastic. You are walking down the street of Jarvis End. You walk. You're probably going past the Opera House at this point. So you have walked past the park where this campaign started oh so long ago. You've walked past Aria Park. Your dress is this proper illusion dress with the sleeves? Have you made this with the sleeves?
I've made it with the sleeves, so yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's fine. It's a glamour dress. Fantastic. That's fine. Just so I know. You were walking down the street. I don't know if I want you to make a bluff or a disguise check or something. I feel like some kind of check to see. Do you then need to? I mean, look up the sleeves of many garments for a second. Go away. Go away. Yeah, it's illusion. Choose to transform the appearance of the garments into any other non-magical set of clothing. Always clean and mended. When you remove the sleeves, the clothes revert to the original form. Fantastic. So, you are walking down through Jarvis End past the Opera House with your incredibly fancy dress that has half-hidden Asmodean symbols embroidered into it. Alone, with a parasol, you say? Cool.
Seems fine.
I
don't know.
Actually, no. I am going to need you to make a disguise check.
Oh boy.
I think we do have some Asmodean holy symbols if you want to roll one.
That's not the reason why I need to make the disguise check. That's irrelevant. Good.
That's a mere 25.
Yeah, but it's a good thing because at this point you can like pretend you've got a like really fancy like bustle thing going on. Yeah. As you're walking down the street with this parasol. And you hear a chuckle come from your left. And as you glance, there are 3. I'll be nice and say that they're not full-blown Hell Knights. They are 3 armigers wearing regalia, which you are quickly recognizing as the Order of the Rack, all looking at you, completely strutting your stuff. And like, they haven't necessarily noticed what the symbols are in the embroidery, but they can see it lacing through the bodice and the like. As the leader of them, assumedly, looks you up and down and goes, "Can't tell if you're just stupid or if that's more audacity I've ever seen in my life."
Evie looks at them, dead in the eye, winks. He goes, "Why don't you come back to my place and find out?"
Oh god.
Is this a ploy?
Oh, I know armigers are usually wearing armor. How fit are they? I need to know.
Okay. Roll higher or lower.
Higher, obviously. I mean,
For
they want to be paladin-like, so their charisma's probably pretty good.
okay. One of them is a dud. But the one who
really?
first called out to you is not a dud. In fact, you know what? The one who called out to you. Imagine if Ulbrich had an evil twin.
Oh man.
In terms of
an-
like just charisma.
You don't
this
have to
an
imagine very hard.
Is this an Elan Nail situation for those of us who enjoy Order of the Stag?
Just because I don't know what you're planning with them, and at least part of your thing, your look right now is illusory. Roll a bluff check for me.
Oh, I'm much worse at bluff than disguise for some reason.
Ah. You see, you might not mind getting in trouble, but we've got a post. But we'll be nice for now. How about you turn on back home and save that pretty little number for a better occasion?
Evie will lean in and go, okay, and then essentially give an address and then leave. Whisper
Okay.
address in ear and goes, see you later, and leave.
Is it a random
Okay.
address?
No?
Is it what address do you give?
I will probably give like one of the pubs that Evie stays at in the city because she moves around a bit.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, fantastic. So you give them the name of one of the inns in the city. And then is it you turn on your heel and walk back the way you came, or do you carry on in the direction you were going?
You know, I'll walk back the way I came. I got the information I needed, which was the Order of the Rack are fucking everywhere.
So those three, the one who you whispered in the ear of looks very happy with himself. As the other two, I'll say the dud is just standing there looking grumpy, and the other one is going proper like jock bro in the moment, and like has the energy of that kind of like bullying him in a you kind of scored kind of way, like that energy about them as you leave. And then you can duck into an alley, change your clothes however you want.
Have to stay at a certain inn for the next few days. Jeez.
Okay, cool. So Evie possibly has a hookup with an Harbinger plant. Oh no, your Taylor's going to be so sad.
Not exclusive.
I don't know, like honeypotting a random armature and having him shot in the back of the head is very World War II pilled.
So, no, now you say it like that. No, hang on. Cool. Yeah, no, that's great. All right. So while Evie is flirting their way into and out of danger, Albrecht, what are you doing?
A very good question. Just sitting there with a headache going, I just know that somewhere something is going wrong. So I'll probably have gathered together the gear that we've salvaged.
Mhm.
And I think Albrecht will probably dress up into like nobleman's guise and effectively go about the markets as a way to gather some information
Cool.
and sell the armor under the guise of it being like surplus from House Tennyson.
Got it. Same question as Evie. Do you have any embroidery on your noble garb?
I don't think so.
At one point you did, because you made
Oh.
it a point. I don't know if you're being more subtle with it now. This is why I'm checking.
As a scion of House Tennyson, the gear will be embroidered.
Okay, cool. Cool. So you managed to like sell everything off. Like that bit isn't an issue. You can sell it without, that's fine. Okay. I'm gonna say make me a gather information check for rumors and then say higher or lower.
I will go for diplomacy is one of the options for that, isn't it?
Yes. Amazing.
Higher, please.
Okay, cool. So you are wandering around the markets. And I'm gonna 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's go with. You are hearing conversation and chatter about all sorts of stuff. You actually managed to hear the Silver Ravens mentioned in amongst the chatter. And about the attention that they've been accruing, some of it good attention, some of it bad attention. People have lots of different opinions on the Silver Ravens, especially when you're in the kind of market where like you can do nobly things. Like the nobles don't seem to have the same consensus on what the attitude to the Silver Ravens is as other areas of Kintargo do. So you're hearing all sorts of stuff, but you do hear one person or one group of people swearing blind that they heard from their cousin's brother-in-law, who is definitely a confidant of Thrune, that he's hired some sort of specialist to start tracking the Silver Ravens down. A Tian specialist of sorts.
Tian, that's a place in the Pathfinder world, isn't it?
It is, yes.
I can't believe it's not China.
Basically. So I'll pop this rumor in there too. You've had 3 rumors today because I've not been delivering any of them because you guys have been busy saving the good armigers. And also because you did roll high, and you're here for a few hours. You also hear. What is that? Sorry, I'm just double checking where a building is. Oh. 12. Oh, it's down there. Okay, cool. So you also hear that there's in various areas of the city, but possibly the stories are coming out a little bit more towards the south of the city. There are kids going missing. The latest one that has been heard about are a pair of twins, which vanished into thin air from the Eudamus tenement, which is the tallest building in Kintargo and is based in Old Kintargo, because, you know, that's where all of the weird buildings are, apparently. So I give you 2 rumors for your 28 diplomacy, because you're real good at that. As you've got your money, you're wandering around, you are listening out for rumors, you're wondering, you know, how much longer you can do this for, and then you hear a cough behind you.
Turn hand on sword.
I'll say 3 Datari guards, just Datari guards, but 3 Datari guards, all looking at you, going, "Sir, you need to come with us."
For what reason, guardsman?
By order of the Lord Mayor, you are currently in breach of the 4th proclamation.
You know, I sometimes struggle. Remind me the exact text of that proclamation, if you'd be so kind.
It's the one about wearing fine embroidered clothing, which you have right now, and you shouldn't. So you need to come with us.
Proclamation the 4th, the right to wear fine embroidered clothing in public is hereafter prescribed to anyone other than agents of House Thrune or the Holy Church of Asmodeus.
Are you an agent of the mayor?
I will show my signet ring and say, my house certainly is, good guardsman.
Do you? But it just says agents of Thrune or the church. That's not the Thrune symbol. They do
Am I
not
to
acknowledge
understand that-
nobility.
Am I to understand that House Tennessin, supplier of the arms and armor which you are currently wearing, and loyal servants of the House of Thrune, for generations beyond reckoning, is not to be considered an agent of House Thrune?
Do you have the paperwork? All of the people, with the exception, got a sign off. Do you have that? If you do, then we'll apologize and be on our way. But until then, you've got to come with us.
Okay. I'm going to try to attempt some social combat, which will be I'll be going for the thing of I'm going to be berating them in such a way that I am threatening such grandiose and terrible things from the wrath of House Tennessin that the with the intention of the gods realizing that it would be easier just to let me carry on.
Okay, cool. Roll. That feels like an intimidate check. Okay.
Not bad, not bad.
Do the noble clothes give a bonus?
No, but them going against their orders gives a negative. Let me just have a look. Why does it not give a good in easy DC? Sorry, I'm just looking at what the DC for this should be.
That's right.
Like
I'm definitely
Based
imagining
on
you
wisdom.
going, when I get home and tell my
Ah.
uncle he's going to have a warforge made specifically to have you murdered.
DC is 10 plus hit die plus the wisdom modifier. Where's my Tatari god at?
It is mostly words to that effect.
Is Albert saying that his father will hear from about this? Is this where we're going?
Okay, so
Yes, apart from the fact that Alberic's father is dead. His uncle is
Okay.
in charge of the house.
you got a 24. The DC to demoralize an opponent is 10 plus the target's hit dice plus their wisdom modifier, and these are guards. So that is
If they've got 10 hit dice, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'll just
Someone
take
has-
the L on that point. Just like, yeah, fair play, you got me.
They will. There is part of them that is like is kind of regrets their decision as soon as they took it, as soon as you start into this tirade in a oh here we go again kind of thing. Oh great, another noble. Oh great, someone else entitled and thinking that the rules don't apply to them. But as you go on and on and on, they start to become more nervous, on edge, a bit more not quite panicking, but just in general getting a bit frazzled by the whole interaction, and they're like, "Oh, okay. Sorry for your time, sir, but if you don't want this to happen again, you do need to get that paperwork sorted, and then we'll leave you alone because yeah, have a nice day," and then they leave.
And it's
Phew.
hard not to have class solidarity with cops in this scenario. God damn.
Samotive. Ooh. Forgot I needed that.
All right, so we've currently got one of you guys building a community hall, one of you cleaning up his lab, one of you flirting with the enemy, and one of you berating the enemy into submission. Great day, guys.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
I guess, yeah. I hear that you did math on loot.
I think given that, I will probably also buy like a set of non-embroidered nobleman's outfit.
Might be an idea.
It's all the embroidery on the inside. So that you
Naturally.
Oh, and yeah, that's definitely the place to keep it. So you guys can go through your day. What I will say as well for Albrecht is once you finish your shopping, once you've done all of that, like you can buy yourself a simpler pair of noble clothes, which are still made of higher quality materials. They're just plain. There seem to be a lot of different choices for those now. I wonder why. And you can go back to the what's the name? Longrose Coffee House. You can go back to the Longrose Coffee House to basically meet up with the others and check and check in with Laria and the rest of the Silver Ravens and stuff. But as you step into the cafe itself, you see two noble looking ladies at one of the tables, one of whom is looking very distressed. And as she glances to the door, she does a double take and stands up and rushes to you immediately as Rolda Olamaxa. comes up to you. To remind everybody, this was the lady who was wanting to help
opera
you set
contact.
up this is the opera contact. And she rushes up to you, completely in a distress and disarray. Have you heard the news?
What's happened? Please, let's sit and have some tea.
The new proclamation. What are we going to do? What if we're not able to put on the opera?
Let's see. Well, I'm sure we can find a way around this little niggle of a loophole.
You say that, but I'm not going to lie. I've been was looking into. We were trying to pick out the correct opera, and we also wanted to do something a bit new with the whole thing. And I may have started looking into some of the more the kind of inspiration which might have just been banned. And I don't know what to do. I've already drafted it. I was going to see if any of my friends could try and put me in touch with the Poison Pen to try and see if they wanted to help us with writing it. And now they've just vanished.
All right. Well, I have, let's say, a few friends in that business. I can see what information we're able to dig up.
On the Poison Pen?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And after all, how could one be said to possess the writings of the Poison Pen if they are anonymous? So once we find who they are, we simply publish their works by name.
And then it won't be published under the Poison Pen, and it won't be unlawful.
Precisely.
You're a genius. Thank you. And she just grabs your hands. She's like, thank you so much. Okay, we absolutely need more tea. We must hash this out immediately. And she runs up to the counter to go order some more drink.
Can't get done for libel if you're murdered by the security services. Hell. It's innovative. It's very innovative.
Right.
Okay.
Let's go bring this to the others. Where was the area that the children were have gone missing from?
So the twins that you heard about, I'll start marking them up on the map. So the twins that you heard about that went missing. So that was, I think it was 012. It was 012. So let's get some circles. So this blue circle is where the twins went missing. They just vanished into thin air. You were told about a TN specialist. You don't necessarily have anything for that. The rumor that Gideon heard was about a murder victim somewhere near the South Wall in Old Kintargo, which is possibly in that area, but the South Wall is, oddly enough, this whole area. It's a lot of wall, but you can probably, if it's a South Wall, then it's one of these ones, most likely. So those are the two rumors that you can pin down. in terms of a potential location. And then yeah, the other two are just general ones that you can't, that don't have a specific location yet. As you guys meet up and share what you've been doing for the day, if you choose to.
Just, let everyone know where my new inn is. It's in the upper side of close to the castle district. For no reason.
Yeah, you. I'm gonna say that like the inn that you gave them was definitely one that was like in the heart of Jarvis End. Like it's the nightlife area. They've got a bunch. They'll have a bunch of, especially near the Opera House. There will be some fancy inns around there.
Albert will arrive in a different gaudy noble outfit to the one he left with, but has that kind of same kind of military style rather than noble, and will say, unfortunately, my knowledge of geography very rarely extended past the borders of Kintargo. Who can tell me about Tianxia?
Does anyone have
It's
knowledge
a way
geography?
away.
No.
Somewhere over the ocean, right? I've read a story. Apparently, there's like weird dragons there. Maybe, I don't know.
Not a place I am familiar with, unfortunately.
Not me.
When Whist gets back, you should ask him. Sounds like a Whist thing.
Yes, I've heard word that there's some specialist from that region who has been tasked with tracking the Silver Ravens.
What, a scout
Mm.
or a murderer?
Or a mage.
I'm not sure how much distinction there will be between those things.
As I was about to say, three things can entirely be accurate.
Yeah.
There's less
Oh,
overlap than you think.
It'd be. Well, they'll probably have a hard time blending in, we can hope. So, can't really do much about it yet.
So Whist appears, like head pops out of a bunch of books and scrolls, which he seems to be half buried in. Sebastian somehow next to him, and they both basically say that neither of them have ever really heard of the place before. Never mind could tell you anything much about it.
Perhaps Rexus might be a better person to ask. He is, as his parents were very educated.
Rexus can be about. Let me check what his.
From a book pile in the opposite side of the room.
It's probably not a book pile, but let's have a look. What's he got? He does not have knowledge geography. So he'll tell you that he doesn't know himself, but he could probably try and find out for you.
That's good. And in the meantime, I have a potential place to investigate, the Eudemus tenement in Old Kintargo.
Really tall building.
I heard some mention of some murderer going about. They mentioned it resembling a Mangvoon, Professor Mangvoon.
People can roll a knowledge history for me if they want to.
So
Like,
I
I'm
know.
not a.
I always say I know of that because of the wax sculpture.
Oh,
That I was like, I'm interested in this.
yes. No, that did come up, didn't it?
Could I do knowledge local?
Yeah. You know what? You can because you've come across this before.
I'll take that.
Nice. Just roll high.
Okay, cool. So, the name. Yeah. So, you know Mangvoon. Oh god, I need to I need to remember which year we're in for this game. During the years of 4596 to 4599 AR, so I think recent history, Kintargo suffered under the blade of a notorious serial killer known as the Temple Hill Slasher, who was revealed eventually to be a beloved professor from the Alabaster Academy named Mangvoon. He was captured. He was executed. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that you get. So if they're saying that it's, hang on, ba 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 ba. Oh, you've looked into this because you got interest in it, oddly enough. So you remember that the MO of the Temple Hill Slasher was slashing. His victims were often brutalized and savaged. Normally with some sort of bladed weapon. And just trying to think if there's oh yeah, here we go. Most of the victims of Mangvoon at the time that this all happened, they were always uncovered in like the early hours of the morning. I'm not saying this is Jack the Ripper, guys, but but yeah, that's what you know of Mangvoon. Asmonth.
That is troubling if somebody is replicating the professor's work.
Especially because the missing people I heard about were twin children.
You need to start looking into it, pound the pavement, but yeah, after the nonsense with the tooth fairies, it's starting to look less like an isolated incident and more like a running problem.
There's also talk, I'm not sure how connected this would be, but there's talk of devil cults operating in the shadows of Kintargo.
Are we sure that's not just anti-tiefling propaganda?
I would hope not, especially as I was hearing such talk as in Red Roof and the Devil's Nursery.
Probably not, then.
They might be dedicated to other outsiders. I know devils and demons have no love for each other. And in an area that is so dominated by the worship of one devil lord, other cults may be trying to siphon off worshippers.
The chatter is that the heads of these cults walk freely amongst the populace, looking exactly like any normal person.
There are magic items that would allow one to disguise oneself fairly well.
But also,
Most
there are
cultists are just.
there are also ways to just conceal your appearance and walk about the day as yourself. If cult meetings do happen, I'm sure people would hide their identity. Raises questions about which is the true mask.
Just to clear it up
Sebastian
right
looks
now,
at you with a big side eye.
I am not currently in any active cults, just so people are aware.
I would say it's probably a certainty, but I think the serial killer is absolutely the priority.
If we are lucky, we shall take out two birds in the bush. Was it two birds, one stone?
That unless you're
No
throwing
difference.
a bush at the birds, it will be the one stone.
That's the fun.
How long ago did you say this professor was active?
The year, was it, just double checking, the years were 4580 to 4596? Or have I got
It was 4596 to 4599. And I'm just double checking what year it is in the game because I don't remember.
the years were 4596 to 4599 AR.
I think we're in
so that-
447 at the moment.
N years ago.
Is there?
Is the professor still alive?
He was executed, as the
No,
story goes.
Decidedly.
Okay, I'm gonna ask, because we live in a world where gods can perform miracles and not all gods are good. Was he beheaded? Is this a really relatively easy thing to resurrect, or not coming back ever situation?
It's the kind of clerical magic you're talking about is not only very rare, it's very expensive. You would literally be better hiring thugs if your goal was to commit murders.
Yeah, but most people's goal isn't to commit murders.
If it's the only group in this city that I can imagine would have the resources to resurrect a dead serial killer from that time ago are the ones that are running the show and would be able to put those resources into better things for being
Fair enough.
fascist scum. Like I'm sorry, I don't wish to seem like I am dismissing the thought it is possible, but it's It would be very far-fetched to me, at least.
Far more
Here we
likely
go.
some
It is
deranged individual.
47:15.
So,
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
It's 47:15 AR, so it's been over 100 years since the sky was executed.
So I think that is past the raised dead limit, because I think it's a century.
100 years is true. 100 years is true. Resurrection only.
And genuinely, I think this happened before the the first Silver Ravens Rebellion. I think it was this, then the Silver Ravens Rebellion, then present day. I think, because I think the first Silver Ravens were 50 years ago.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, raised dead is days per caster level. So it would be resurrection or true resurrection or wish.
Or turning them into a sentient unliving. Yay!
It's whether they have enough. I can't imagine that his remains were treated respectfully.
Whether they're an imitator
yeah,
or a
you're-
necromancer, I will put it in the ground again.
Oh yes, the sentient.
My point was, if we're looking for a copycat, then we don't have to look up history from 150 years ago or however long.
Do we? Evil can be very banal. Do we know if there was any species of supernatural involvement, cursed items, possessions, anything like that?
I mean, if there was, it would have been in the museum, right?
I mean,
It seems like the only place which still has information on this guy.
Phantasmagorium was definitely seemed more of an attraction than a museum.
But it did display Temple Hill Slasher. I don't know about motives or influences upon him, but he was handy with a blade. That's that much.
He was, or Mangvoon?
Mangvoon was handy with a blade.
Was he a physician?
Academic professor at the academy, so undoubtedly would have had anatomical knowledge.
I mean, this is also going to sound a bit crazy. Are we sure this is not someone attempting to set Azimuth up for something?
So I'll just to give you guys an idea, just because you're thinking back to the wax gallery. The wax statue that Azimuth is thinking of had a depiction of a man dressed in blood-stained professor's clothes. He wielded a bloody surgeon's knife in one hand. To give you an idea of the kind of weapon he's been depicted with. Obviously, this is a wax statue, so take that as accurate as you want it to be. But that is how he has been remembered.
So, Evie, why would you suggest somebody is trying to set me up?
I mean, you have a large amount of surgical skills and providing healthcare to those who are in need of it. I'm not one of them, but some people might consider that against this current regime for one reason or another.
Or you think this might be related to this Tian operator?
Very weird for them to come and immediately kill citizens if they're looking for the Silver Ravens. Especially to do it in a very gruesome way. Well, we have no idea what their country's like, so
Would it behoove us to find out more about the victims? See if there's any correlations, if it's random or if there is a pattern.
It's not a bad idea if you want to try and do that.
We should certainly start hitting the pavement on it.
Yeah.
Were the twins from around the neighborhood? Do we know their names, or is it that vague?
there they are. Look, we've marked it on the map. The
So
twins
the
live
building that
quite
the twins
close to
lived
the
in is
south.
the circle, and that building is quite close to the south wall. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Okay. So I would say you guys can, if you want to, I probably the way that I had this trained was it is towards the end of the day. If you guys wanted to, the next day you could head into you could head out to try to find out more information about the victims and the like.
That works.
Okay, so you guys head on out the next day. Again, Sebastian and Whist are working away on their new project of trying to claim and preserve every piece of writing by the band writers. So they're working away at that in the background, perfectly happy. As you guys head down to the only real lead you've got, which is Old Kintargo. Actually, you guys can go to the Tooth and Nail. Because the Tooth and Nail is in Old Kintargo. So heading into the Tooth and Nail, you encounter Citrona. You encounter Emily. You encounter, what's his name again? Citrona has an assistant. Where's the name gone? Insom. The only male human in this building when you guys walk in. He's a lumpish man, close-cropped blonde hair. He's milling around everything else. There's a couple of other people, like just what seem to be regulars around. You do see the sweet shop owner from next door seems to be having some sort of break in here this morning before she heads off again, but she gives those of you who have bought from her a wave. Lucula, I think is how you pronounce the name. She gives you a bit of a smile and a wave as you all come in. And you guys can have a chat. Anybody who wants to try to gather up some information on these murders can make a it'll be gather information. So it'll either be gather information diplomacy, or if you just want to kind of sit around listening silence like the rumors in the room, then you can do a perception.
I know which one I'm better at.
This is why I give you the option, because I'm nice. Cool. Smoth, have you met Lucula yet?
Is that Who was Vicula?
So she owns a sweet shop next door. She's I posted her in the chat at one point. She's got pretty hair. She's got an eye patch. Black hair, very pretty eye patch.
I think last session when I was leaving the Tooth and Nail after making reparations with the owner over the padlock.
Yeah. Yes.
Didn't she make a pass at me or something?
Oh, well, that was perfect because your perception doesn't go very well because guess who sits next to you? Like you go sit down, like you go to do like your like corner thing, like you're gonna sit in the corner and brood, and then about 10 seconds later, two drinks get placed down on the table, and you look up. She's like, "Well, hello, handsome." Yes, I do mean you.
Good day.
Yeah, so not had enough for the day yet to see if it's going to be good or bad.
Interesting viewpoint to take. May I help you?
Just wanted to see how you were doing.
I'm quite well, thank you.
Good. We'd like to hear it.
You seem to be in good spirits.
I'm trying to puzzle something out.
Like, there's going to be a moment where you can hear gears turning in his head, and then come to the wrong conclusion. Like, I can help with the puzzle, I'm sure.
Oh, I hope so. It's about you.
Oh.
I'm trying to work out how much of a sweet tooth you might have.
I'm going to leave you two kids alone. If he doesn't fuck you, I will. Okay, I'm leaving now.
Oh, what a tease.
Hey, this is literally somebody like flirting, trying to chat you up with promises of sweets. I would like to call an adult, get this person the panel van and the place on the register that they deserve.
So she continues to flirt with you like that for as long as you will allow it.
The problem is, Asmoth is unfailingly polite a lot of the time, and it's just going to be just sat there, very stiff and awkward, unable to actually hear anything else happening in the room.
Yep, this is why you got a 15. I've got Albric's diplomacy. The Evie and Gideon. Did you want to make checks for me?
Can I be the wing woman to the person chatting Asmoth up? Is that possible as a check?
You
in
can
this
like to
scenario?
fail and do that if you want to, yeah.
Like, Evie is many things, but this is much funnier than what she was actually going to do.
In this corner over here, we have Asmoth just slowly, I think, or maybe quickly losing the will to live, as Lucula inevitably ends up flirting with both of you, but most of the energy is directed at Asmoth. It's just that every time Evie comes in with that kind of energy, she absolutely flips it around on you and matches you with the energy.
Oh no.
Oh no. And Gideon, would you like to make a check for me?
I was going to start trying to learn more about the obvious plot in front of us. However, I am sense motiving Lucula Jens within an inch of her life. Like,
go for it.
29.
Cool.
This is this is deep. This is a deeply suspicious. Like, you know, Asmoth, you're a nice chap, but you're not panty dropping the obvious femme fatale hot. Like, neither is Gideon. I will hold my hand up.
She's horny. She's horny.
You don't know what she's into.
She's horny.
If she's into Morbius, then fine. Like, I can't deal with that.
Nobody's into Morbius.
Not even Sony Pictures.
Or so she is horny. That is one thing you get.
Is this like recently divorced woman horny, or is
No.
is Asimov going to walk into the park with expectations and come out with a bullet hole in his head?
No, it's not that kind of energy. You as you watch her, you probably get the sense that she is curious as much like the a little bit of this vibe is genuine, but a little bit of it is also very curious about the new patrons that are now showing up nearly daily next door. And she's been trying to get a read on people in various different ways.
Calling it now, she's an undercover cop.
Okay. I say that's the
You want me
vibe.
to go under her covers. Got it. Don't worry, I got the message.
No, we need to rate this episode H for horny. Got it.
I'm gonna just quickly Google how I can delete something somebody else said.
Okay, cool. While all that's going on, Hellbrick, rumor gathering.
Thank you for not being for actually doing the objective. Now that the rest of us have been thrown off a cliff.
Emily thinks it's hilarious when she I will say that for Gideon, he probably started on task, and then he just keeps getting distracted by what's going on in the corner, and when she realizes that you have been fully distracted and are just staring down this woman to vibe check her, she thinks it's hilarious.
It's very on brand.
Oh, she's not surprised at all, but it's a hilarious in a oh wow, you haven't changed and I've missed this kind of way. As Citrona and Insom, I think it was Insom, will have a chat with Albrick, who did get a 23, in order to try to find out a bit more about these apparent murders. So what they are able to tell you is more. First of all, they tell you that quite a few kids have been going missing. The bodies that have been found that have been murdered do not match with the kids that have been going missing. Is the first thing they say. They've heard about the missing twins in the area, but everyone else that has basically more people have been going missing than dead bodies have shown up, and there is still an unaccounted for missing group, and that group is almost exclusively children, but at least some of the dead bodies are adults.
Yeah, I think Albert's response is to say, I genuinely don't know if that's good news or not.
I mean, the twins might not be dead. Maybe is possibly the best take. So far, I think based on the whole, the Temple Hill Slasher's back, I think we've heard about 6 deaths that match the old legends. And they've all been kind of in this area, very much old south, tucked away in our corner. But I don't think the kids have been exclusively going missing from here. So I think it's 2 things that just happen to be happening in the same place at the moment. That's not a good thing, but
And the descriptions of them seem to imply literal disappearances rather than absences and of the like. So it
Oh,
may
you
well be
know
that
what people are like when they get to rumors, though. They don't get enough of an They don't get enough information, and then they make things up, or they get the right information and then they may get it wrong. Disappearing into thin air could mean anything.
Fair enough. Okay. Loath as I am, we do have to focus our attentions on one issue,
Mm.
and serial killings.
You guys are
Have to
good,
take our
but you're
priority.
not as good as being able to deal with both at once. I think. Tell you what. I will keep an ear out. The problem is that the last one, at least, was a few days ago, and from what I hear, the places where they're found, they're always alleys, and there's basically nothing left behind except the body. So even if the Tatari were taking it seriously, I don't think they'd have much to go on. I can't even tell you where the last murder happened. But I'll keep my ears out, and if I hear anything, I'll let you know.
If we can establish any commonality between the victims, that would help us narrow down things much quicker.
Aside from the fact that they're all from the same, mile radius in the city. In fact, I don't think the city's that big. But if they're all from the same region of the city, they're all different ages. There's been different genders. I'll try and get some names, because that's the problem is that if the names aren't remembered quickly enough, then the names get forgotten as just another victim of the Temple Hill slasher. So I'll see if I can track down the names. I'll see if I hear anything new, and I'll let you guys know when I found something. Now you might want to go save your friends over there, because I know what Luke's like, and if she doesn't already have her claws in the both of them, she's not letting them walk away without a little bit of fun. You might want to go save them.
Azimuth has claws enough of his own. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Seems like he wants the ground to swallow him whole, and he hasn't said a word in at least 20 minutes. I don't think he's using the claws here.
You have a point. I think our work will turn around and very loudly and very obnoxiously say, Dr. Albrecht, shall we head to your appointment to the Iodamus tenement?
Did you mean Dr. Asmoth?
Yes.
Yeah, gets up, sort of stops halfway, goes, please excuse me, and just carries on.
Oh no! Oh, we were just trying to get to the fun part. Well, are you going to be staying, lovely?
I'll catch you up.
Just give Evie a stare as we walk out.
Cool. So Evie and Lucula, you know what? Probably about 2 minutes after the others leave, Lucula drags Evie next door. She lives next door. The house is very close.
More importantly, there are sweets next door.
There are sweets next door. That's definitely the most important part of this arrangement.
Yeah, I'm just going for a taste test. Definitely sweets I'm tasting. Sorry for literally everyone watching.
Okay. Again, hey for horny on this episode. Right. What am I doing? Okay. Iodamus tenement.
Quite a quick question, Ash.
Yeah.
Does the is the cult of Pharasma in charge of handling dead bodies? around here, or is it just on
Ooh.
a kind of neighborhood by neighborhood basis? Because I know that most religions go, Pharasma doesn't much care what happens as long as it's not necromancers and it's in the system.
Mm.
I assume that if there was a city morgue, the Pharasman church would operate it.
You know what? I don't know about a city morgue. Let's see what we've got.
Sorry to kind of derail.
Yeah,
it,
no,
but
you're fine. You're fine.
if there's murderers, the city morgue is the obligatory first step in the procedural chain.
Well, it's
30
not going
here
to be in the
playing
Green District.
CSI.
Bookstore, Opera
Yeah,
House.
no, more like
Farmers.
Special Victims Unit, and you're playing executive producer Dick Wolf. I will also mention to both Asimov and Blue Blood that this person seems too interested in new patrons. Like this is not just, it just seems wildly suspicious. Because they did this with Sebastian as well.
This is not the first time they have tried to speak to me, singularly.
And it's the same. I appreciate this might make me seem a bit old-fashioned. This singularly, disconcertingly direct approach that is easily put aside simply as a venal, carnal obsession. I don't know what about that person is setting me off. They feel like it has the feel of an informant. It has the feel of somebody who is passing information.
If you can catch Evie in a quiet moment, just make sure that you impress the importance of not revealing too much. But I suspect your concerns are valid, but not true in this case.
I don't think I have the right bearing to make the case. I am as certain as I can be of my estimation, and I rarely commit that strongly to something of that, but I do not believe I could persuade. All I know is that everything about my instinct screams that that person is a danger.
In that case, Evie's the best pair of hands to leave that matter with. She is quite capable of handling herself.
I'll speak with Evie then.
The question remains why myself and Sebastian were singled out for such conversation. Are we suspected as weak links or easy marks?
I think Sebastian went into the shop and it was a kind of convenience. Now that I believe she is aware that we are all broadly affiliated with each other, my instinct is that it is to work out what is it that binds many very, shall we say them, different people. I certainly am not I am an out-of-towner. You're a tiefling, they're a noble, we have a gnome, and we have a respected a barrister sort, as well as Evie.
Just Evie.
We're not exactly a group of friends going to a bar after work.
I believe the term you might be dancing around is ragtag.
I disagree. We are all, I think, quite locked down, but aesthetically, maybe.
In terms of our assortment and what we may represent, very much so. In terms of what we are united in as a cause, decidedly not.
There's no harm in keeping your guard up and perhaps making sure that Evie has a nice time and is safe in the process. But I would keep it to the level of, keeping an eye on a friend rather than outright suspicion.
We have Citrona and Emily to consider as well. They're not exactly civilians, but they're not they are not Silver Ravens in the same way we are. We have an obligation to be watchful for those that we are associated with and who associate themselves with us.
Fair enough.
Thank you for hearing me out, at least. I'm aware I sometimes seem paranoid.
I, for one, appreciate your vigilance. I am unfamiliar with many of the ways of interpersonal relations. I feel somewhat relieved to have somebody to watch my back.
Right, let's get on it.
But
Indeed.
you guys finish this conversation as you are able to see between the streets and everything else one of the tallest buildings that you've seen in the city in general, never mind here, is the Eudemus tenement. It's somewhat dilapidated, but has definitely stood the test of time, just by its foundations being as strong as they are. The upper two of the 3 stories are constructed of old grey wood. And let's see. There is a sign posted on a door next to stairs leading to the upper floors that says manager. But as you approach, you see on the porch there sits a squat elderly woman in drab clothing, wearing the look on her face is a mix of exhaustion and just disgust. This woman is just done with the world. As she just sits up on the porch, she's just kind of watching the world go by.
Evening. Are you the manager of this establishment?
You lot. What you lawyers doing now about here? Get gone.
If you've got a few minutes, we can make it worth your time. We'd just like to talk about a couple of kids that live around here.
I'm gonna make it worth my time. Alright, then. What if I'm busy?
Okay, so I will reach into my pockets, pull out 10 gold pieces.
Cool. I will say that passes the diplomacy check for you. As she sees the 10 gold pieces and her eyes light up, she's like, all right, what's this then?
Do you know of any residents here who have twins?
There was let me see if I can find the information. Hmm. I actually need to find where these kids are. 1 second. Let's see. The missing kids. The Shallots did. Kids have vanished not long ago.
We'd heard. What are they in at the moment, or are they
The,
out?
the Shallots, they're doing whatever they need to do to pay my rent.
So they're. Where do they work? Do you know?
No, I don't care as long as they give me my money.
I mean, you seem like you run a very tight ship around here. I assume that you're the
Yes, I
kind of
do.
person that you know everything that goes on. So maybe
No, not everyone can know everything. I mean, those kids, they were annoying little swines, always causing problems and being loud and fast, and then now they're gone. Who knows where? Kids that go disappearing all the time around here.
when was the last time they were bothering your peace?
I don't know. It's nearly daily. They're teenagers. What do you expect?
Yeah, but when were they last around causing this ruckus?
I know. I've had at least 2 days apiece.
Okay. I'll look at the other two companions.
Well, we have been hearing all sorts of sordid rumors, as you can imagine, when news like this breaks. And I am sure the last thing that you would want as the purveyor of such a fine establishment is the kind of attention that a case like this might bring, and who might take an interest in it. We are concerned citizens who are hoping to find a way to make sure that nothing untoward is going on with
Concerned citizens, nosy beggars is what you all are.
Nobody wants Datari around. They're nosier beggars still.
Oh, they are that. Look, I don't know what to tell you. They disappeared a couple of days ago. I don't know.
If you wouldn't mind, if we leave a name when you next see one of their parents, could you pass a message on? I'd be willing to offer an additional fee.
Oh, well, if you're gonna pay me, then I can't say no.
I'll drop another gold piece into the pile and say, I don't know, where should we direct them to?
Was this to her or to you?
No.
Yeah.
This is Matt, the player, talking to the other
Oh, I
players
see.
where the characters should ask the message.
Probably best to leave note of the tooth and nail.
Mm.
Oh, I know them. Citrone is lovely. Place has got a bit more run down over the years, but she still knows how to do a good bit. Alright, I'll pass your little message on.
Very much appreciated. Thank you.
Alright. Okay, you have now met the grumpy manager of Iudamus Tenement. Oh, one thing I will everybody make perception checks from me as you leave. For me as you leave.
Lol, Lamau.
Oh dear.
Ouch.
Cool. Cosmos then hears her grumbling as you leave about these damn twins. Keep causing trouble even when they're not here. And now they're not here. She can't even hike up the rent like she was going to when they turned 18.
Viewers, this is why landlords are bad.
Landlord is a unnecessarily gendered term. I please refer to them as parasites in future.
Oh,
Well,
apologies.
this parasite is mad about the fact that these kids
Housing goblins.
disappeared before she could start charging them like adults.
Right. Well, we might get be able to get some more information, maybe some kind of channel for some spells, possibly. An idea of where they played.
Okay. You guys carry on then. At this point, are there any other leads you want to follow, or is there anything else you want to investigate while you're out?
Yes, I think I'll ask if awful with names. Citrona. I'll ask her if she happens to know any information about the poison pen of Cantago.
The poison pen?
Hmm.
Oh, so this is assuming you guys have gone back to the tooth and nail. Evie is not there. Neither is Luke or Lukula.
Okay. So first question will probably be, did Evie say where she was going?
Nope, but I heard the sweet shop door close rather excitedly about 2 minutes after you left.
She'll probably have to drop by in the morning then.
You can see if she's free before you guys head on back to the north side if you want. But as for the poison pen, I mean, no one knows about the poison pen. That's the whole point. It's a pseudonym. No one knows who actually is the poison pen. For all we know, there's 5 of them.
A little bit of idle curiosity, just in case you happen to know more than most.
Okay. What I do know is that he's a he, she, they, Poison Pen, they're a writer, but they're also a critic, specifically of certain current and new regimes. Da-da-da-da-da. There we go. Here we are. Found it now. Yeah. What all anyone really knows about the Poison Pen is what they write. So they're a critic. They're a poet. They've been writing poetry about this. Thank you, darling. I've got ice cream.
Yay.
They've been writing poetry about our illustrious queen and the rest of her government for at least a year. But no one knows who they are. No one has. I mean, I could try and find out if you wanted to. Which, on that note, as you guys are talking, the door opens and a new person who none of you have seen before enters. A elven, a feminine-looking woman, dark hair, long dark hair, put into braids, wearing very well kept chainmail armor, with a rapier and a long red cloak. Steps in, looks around, and spots the three of you that are currently here. And just goes to sit at one of the tables.
That does sound like an unusual thing to be wearing out and about.
Do you say this to her?
Um,
Or are you saying this to Citrona?
I think I would, just say it like relatively quietly out to the group of people. Like, it's a bit strange to see someone walking around in full armor and arms and armor.
Well, I'll tell you one thing right now. I don't think I've seen her here before.
Hmm.
Does she look to be? Is she wearing any kind of military insignia, or does she look like an adventurer or mercenary?
She is dressed.
I should hope she is. This is a public place.
People roll a knowledge local check for me. It's enough to know. You're pretty sure that what she's wearing is the uniform of a naval officer, specifically a Chalish naval officer. Also, as you look a bit closer, on one side there's a rapier. On the other side of the belt, there is a pepper box.
That's definitely unusual.
Remarkably well healed.
All right. I suppose I will go and introduce myself.
Okay, cool. Albrecht.
Citrona, could you pour a pint of your best?
She already is pushing a pint over to you. Good luck with whatever that is.
I'm going to redirect it to Alberic and say either you can give it as a gift or you can give it as a weapon.
I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can suss out her specific rank, or at least try and judge if she is a commissioned officer or not. So, is she a noblewoman in the navy, or is she a Navy officer, if that makes sense.
Are you trying to do this with a look, or are you going to try and do this with conversation?
I'll start with a look and see what I can find out just from.
I'm not going to make you roll for this. She is elven. You do see a tattoo on one arm, and you can tell she's a naval officer. She is not wearing anything that specifically denotes her rank.
Mhm.
You, aside from the fact that what she is wearing is very good gear.
Okay. In that case, I will start off very politely. So I will offer out a drink, and I'm doing the rough equivalent of like the American "thank you for your service."
Okay. She smiles up at you as you do that, and she kind of pulls the drink closer. Oh, you do know how to charm a woman.
One does one's best.
You do plenty good. I suppose we can stay for the one drink before we have to get to business. Lieutenant Elia Nones.
This is Alex thinking for a second.
That's fine.
I'm going to sense motive as a vibe check and see. It's basically so Albrecht has spoken and thus has outed himself as nobility, and I'm going to try and vibe check how she feels about that.
Okay.
Oh dear.
She's smiling at you. She's got very much now she said lieutenant. Like, she has an air about her that isn't just like noble arrogance, but is like noble arrogance's cousin. And she just kind of pulls the drink a little bit closer. So yes, Lieutenant Elia Nones.
Albrecht Tenessen.
Tenessen. Not bad. All right. This should be interesting.
Oh, you recognise the name.
One of the major houses. How could I not? Are you going to sit with me for the drink, or shall we? Or
I would be happy to support our armed forces in a time like this.
Fantastic. What about your friends?
I will glance over.
Let me put it this way.
I'm enjoying my drink, and I have other things to do.
Let me put it this way. The message that I need to pass on is going to be to all of you, and I don't like to repeat myself. So maybe those of your friends who are here would like to come over, and then I just have to say it once.
Well, in that case, it would be the height of rudeness not to hear it all at once.
I agree.
I've given so my background has a lot to do with like sailors and ships.
Mhm.
This is giving me very naval discipline. Can I sense motive off that?
I can do, yeah. What is it you're trying to pick out at this point?
I'm trying to pick the fuck out why. Okay, I rolled a 1, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'm trying to work out why a Chelish naval officer, because they're not likely to be another navy, is coming to port and is going for 3 randos in the middle of not the most well-off area of town.
She has her smile, and she's not saying anything with a certain sweetness. Like, there is a certain decorum with the way she holds herself, and there is nothing past that. that you can pick up. She has this from this facade, and she's holding it both steady and confidently. And she just slowly sips at her drink as she waits for the two of you to join her at the table.
Asmoth will sidle over.
And that's 2.
I'll turn around and say, I'm not a crewman. And
I'm
this
not
is not a
expecting you
ship,
to be.
and you're treating everybody like one.
If I was treating you like my crew, there would be a very different energy. For one, I wouldn't be smiling. Come on, you got me this drink.
I would have rather seen it used elsewise, but I'm at least glad you have basic decorum. You can speak up.
Not everybody needs to hear this.
If it's such a discreet message, why was not a lower officer sent? Does your captain have such a high opinion of us?
You can think what you
Stranded on
like.
his ship.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. All right then, we'll do it this way. My captain, Captain Salgata, of the Scourge of Belial, requests your company. The company of citizens who so ably liberated a certain gathering of wrongfully imprisoned Hell Knights from unjust incarceration. And this attendance is compulsory. I think I'll wait until I finish my drink. And everyone is silent. Can I just say that, like, this is the moment, like, she goes to sip. Evie slams the door open, having returned. What kind of state is Evie in right now?
Evie is like wearing pristine, completely different clothes. Um, but looks a little bit flustered.
Okay. The lieutenant turns around, spots
like-
you, and goes, "Ah, and there's number 4. Stick. We've got enough to be getting on with then."
Once she turns around, I'm going to flash on a sense evil or
Ah,
detect evil.
okay. Let me double
Uh,
check how you detect evil. It pings with
It looks for evil auras. So if
yes,
she's
and you
like,
have an evil aura when you are at least character level 5, or you're an outsider that's evil, I believe.
yes,
or you are a paladin or cleric.
yeah,
Yeah, cool, fantastic.
Or priest.
Yeah, okay. She evil, my guy.
okay. I get a rough sense of her, the basically the power level of it.
Let's see. What is the power level? Sense the presence of evil. So for her,
It's overwhelming. We're going.
it is faint.
Okay.
It is
uh,
a faint evil aura.
So they're not a cleric of any kind, or another divine spellcaster.
Evie sat down and is like, okay, I don't know what's happening, but I'm enjoying this proposition already, ma'am.
Lieutenant, please.
I'm enjoying the proposition.
Very well.
Lieutenant, in order to show due respect for the fact that you have approached us in the manner that you have, and not perhaps in the manner that you could have, I am willing to parley with your captain.
Good.
I cannot speak for the people with me, of course. They are individuals with their own desires and own senses of decorum. But you certainly have my ear at least.
Oh, actually, that's a point. Anybody who has knowledge, nobility, or local can make that check for me right now, or you can make a sense motive check for me.
Nobility I can do.
Absolutely going to make that sense.
I cannot.
check.
It's my turn. My turn with the one.
Oh, cool. So,
3 ones in a row.
I will remind you all that she said her captain, Captain Salgator of the Scourge of Belial. Albrick and Gideon both notice that as a dutiful naval officer, as she has clearly shown herself to be, the standard introduction of a Chalish warship is introduced as her Infernal Magistrix's warship. So the fact that she didn't say that in her introduction, as she also pointed out what she did about the Hell Knights being incarcerated, is interesting indeed.
I think I know what the Scourge of Belial is. Or I could make an educated guess.
Go on.
That they are, at the very least, privateers.
No, they're 100% a warship.
I mean,
I'm gonna
Evie's
take a chair and take a seat at the table. Right.
Oh, you finally join us.
Gonna make some educated guesses here. I'm gonna guess by the fact that you're not here with a bunch of Tatari, and the fact that you apparently managed to reel in the average Chelish naval officer's pride to actually have a discussion, albeit not a phenomenal one, implies that either you're off the reservation with your captain is in the shit, or he wants something, or any combination of those three. How close am I?
You'll have to come to see my captain to find out.
All right, well, I am the citizen of the Republic of Andorran, and I won't be doing that personally. You'll have to make do with the nobleman that is fine with Chelish nobility. And maybe everyone else, I don't know. But I'm not setting a foot on that ship. Madam.
You're not wrong about the kind of restraint being shown here. And the kind of restraint my captain is showing here is even more so and is even rarer.
Which makes me wonder, what kind of job does a respectable person like a Chelish naval captain have to do with people who are neither members of their crew or unaffiliated independent mercenaries?
You are asking the wrong person.
It is an officer's job to know the captain's mind. And I
It's not the
understand
officer's
you
job
won't.
to share it, though, is it?
Exactly. So whilst I can respect your sense of duty and your good sense of restraint, hopefully you'll accept that I'm not exactly interested in joining you on board a ship where your captain's word is absolute law. a law that I'm not exactly fond of.
Well, that's one yes, one no. And the rest of you? Are you might to assume you're going to leave your noble to grace our ship alone?
I will attend.
Too nice. And what about you, latecomer?
Can I get a will save off her, please?
For what?
It is DC 14 charm person.
Oh no.
Can't
Where
be done
is?
in combat.
Sorry?
It should be noted, it doesn't have any verbal or somatic components, so no one knows it's happening.
Oh no.
Hold on. Does your person not have any? Is this
Not
a
the way I'm
spell?
doing it.
Ah, you cheeky something. Okay.
Cheeky, at-will, racial special ability, redacted.
What was the number?
It's not DC 14.
Okay, what does charm person do again? This just makes it
essentially,
friendly towards you, right?
The charm makes a humanoid creature regard you as its trusted friend and ally. Treat the target's attitude as friendly.
Okay. All right. Are you saying anything as this happens?
I'm staring dreamily into her eyes.
This is fine.
Of course, I'll go with you.
Good. I should hope so. Now then, and she finishes off like whatever is left of the drink. She downs the whole thing in one go. Let's leave your Andoran to the rest of his drink, shall we? We have business to attend to. And
I'll
I
catch you up
will.
when we're finished.
What was that?
I'll say I'll catch you up once we're finished.
I assumed as much. Don't worry. I don't think we need to ask if you'll have safe conduct, because I don't think anybody in quite the predicament that her captain is would think to harm a Tennessan.
She kind of just dusts off her uniform as she stands up, ignores everything that Gideon just said, nods to the three of you, and then heads out the door, expecting you to follow her. And let's call the session there for this week, I think. As Evie has flirted with 3 different people this session.
Has faded to black
Half
with
of
at
those were
least
successful.
one.
Yeah. All right,
Has
fantastic.
a 33% success rate with a potential for 66 in the coming weeks.
You don't know where I was last night, other than in an inn that anti-paladin had the address of. Who knows what happened? Maybe it was 66%. I wasn't paying attention.
Look, I'm work with numbers that I know. Okay,
That's
are you
good
willing
cost
to make it?
information.
You willing to make it canonical, Evie?
The real question is Evie in their bad boy phase? And I think the answer is probably yes.
In before the music to Pink Pony Club, but it's Evie shape shifting.
All right. Thank you very much for anyone and everyone who has stuck with us this long up until the end of the session. Apologies for how horny it got throughout. Was not my intention, but Evie's gonna Evie, I guess.
Apparently so.
But yeah, no, there's it feels like we've been gone for more than a month, but it has literally just been a month. Feels longer though. But we are back and we are ready for most of us to go on to a Chalish warship to meet a captain and have a conversation. And Gideon's gonna stay in the pub.
What could possibly go wrong?
We'll see.
Yeah, like this is like I will happily look stupid if it ends up being kind of a partial TPK, but that everything about this is very hinky. Because literally it would be cheaper and less compromising to hire a bunch of like murderers to just do whatever this guy wants done.
That's what he wants done. All right. You guys, I'll write up campaign notes of what happened this session. And to everyone else, we'll see you hopefully in June. June should be an okay month for sessions. This month was a bit awkward because it is LARP season again, and at least half of us go to LT, and that is twice in May. And it's actually again in 2 days, so that's great. Gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
Should be good.
Yeah, it should be good.
Lying and concealing information.
About what?
LT being a good time.
Hey, I had a great time in the moot.
I had a great time not being at the moot, so that's
Oh,
nice.
good for you. The Stockholm syndrome may be back, but oh well. Anyway,
It's fun ride.
It's fine. But yeah, just as a reminder to everybody, we are currently raising money for the Albert Kennedy Trust, or AKT. It is the charity raising, well, we are raising money for the charity that tackles, there we go, that's what I was after, tackles LGBT plus homelessness and LGBT youth, making sure that LGBT plus teens and young adults have safe homes, safe havens, when they are either have no home or a dangerous home. Which, if I point very vaguely at the current climate that we're at, LGBT communities are definitely a bit more vulnerable right now, and the young'uns need protecting. So let's get them all nice and safe. But yeah, no.
Forever.
Trying to think what else to say, what else to add to that.
Drink water.
Yeah,
Eat every so often and have a good time.
yes, definitely do all those things. Also, if you have meds, do not neglect your meds, just as a general rule.
So, anyone want to plug anything while we're here?
Anything else that people have to plug?
I think the only other main thing is the other main campaign that runs with the Assembled Adventurers is Gender Maker, the stream of Pathfinder Kingmaker. Looks like we have now got a nice confirmed date, which is lovely, which is June the 21st, so in a
Ooh.
month's time.
Nice.
I'll make sure to get up advertisements for that one because that should be a fun time. We're currently investigating the party is currently investigating a town whose entire populace has suddenly vanished without warning. And they're currently tangling with, shall we say, some of the new inhabitants. And it's
dear.
not going wonderfully.
Oh dear.
It's going fine. What are you talking about?
And Alex is desperately trying to persuade us that Big Bird isn't the threat when we all know Big Bird is the threat.
Oh dear.
So the fight's going fine. My character has taken some damage, but then been healed back up, so he's fine.
It was mostly the
Yeah.
the roguish investigator noting, there's a trap in front of the door, and then the barbarian shouting, I'm going to go charge directly at the door.
If I have to tell Gore once more, a single time more, to watch out for a trap and be ignored, I will stop warning about traps.
the job of a barbarian has always been partly trap Roomba.
Not to worry. I have a bonus to reflex saves against traps. Crit fails the reflex save.
Yeah, so it rolls 1.
People in that campaign need to remember that for some reason the dice hate us. As proven by the fact I said the words, "Oh, I don't think you can hit me apart from on 20s," and then was hit twice within the next round.
Oh dear.
Where is our tech
If
wizard?
if it takes like more than a 20 or something, doesn't it then mean they have to like confirm to just get the crit and then crit confirm something? Or
So a nat 20 will
a
always
20
hit.
alright.
Yeah. But it's very unlikely to confirm a crit, thank goodness.
Yes.
Although, knowing a certain person's dice rolls in that game, I'm waiting for it.
The 1-ish% chance, I think, of double 20s.
The 1% you say.
Oh no, I've been rumbled.
We got him, folks.
I can't escape my Englishness.
It's been a several year of journey, but we finally got the admission. Wrap it up. I mean, we could all just leave the call and then just see how long the YouTube video continues for.
That just seems mean. That seems mean to Sean and all of the good work he does for us.
Or stare directly into
We'll
our
just-
cameras and then make some kind of art piece of it.
I mean, I just like the idea that people would then treat it like, Marvel end credits and just wait until the very end, and there would be nothing there. Nothing at all.
It's just,
And
but
then
they got it
maybe
now
Sean
because you
goes,
just said
"Bullshit."
that there'll be nothing there.
Exactly.
Why are you still here? It's over. Go home.
I love Deadpool.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yorkshire pool. Hartlepool.
Should have carried on a little bit more, but like that was the perfect place to end.
Yeah, no, like absolutely made sense to finish there.
I should have flirted. Maybe the lieutenant should have flirted some more with Evie. Now that charm. How long does charm person last?
Do we?
Oh,
Where's
for-
the
for-
horny bat?
It's level level cast level hours, and I'm treated as cast level 5 for it. So she is my friend for 5 hours.
I'm 5. What
I
did
have
you
a
do?
I have a trait which increases it by 1, and it's treated as my hit die.
But she is charmed by you for 5 hours.
Sorry, if I make a threatening, like if I attack her or anything, it'll probably break. But like, we just can't get kinky, is what I'm hearing.
Not for 5 hours. Well, she could with you. You can't with her.
Yeah, I feel like that's a normal standard procedure anyway. To be honest with you.
I'm just reading up charm now again. Okay, so it's still a charisma check to give subject orders, but they have a friendly attitude, so it gets easy to do. And any act by you or your apparent allies that threatens them breaks a spell. You must speak the person's language to communicate your commands, or else be good at pantomiming.
Fun fact: in a different campaign, I am a specialist in pantomime for a very obvious reason.
Oh my word! Of course you are. I'm not even surprised. I'm gonna double check what her class is now, because like I didn't. Oh yeah, no, she's cool. I don't want you to fight her because then it ruins what's in the book. But oh wait, no, hold on. I've never played this class before. I have no idea how to do it.
Did you say that
Wait, no,
she was?
hang on. She had a +2. The charm failed. She's an elf.
No.
She's an elf. They get
Oh,
plus
yeah.
2 against enchantments. I forgot about that bit.
Dang.
It's fine. She humored you a little bit. That's all.
It's fine. She just likes Eevee.
For the sounds of it, lots of people like Eevee.
I'm just a regular human fighter who, like all regular fighters, has high charisma.
Oh yeah, I meant to at some point when you guys were in the Wasp Nest make everyone else do perception checks about you, and I forgot. Oh well, I'll do that next time.
Fine. You don't have to. It's fine.
It's
It's
look.
it's make
You spent at least half of this session in a dress with a bustle, and that you got away with. Everything else, not so much.
The parasol. The parasol is what did it.
The parasol was doing good work.
Which now I can think of it is not included with the garments, which means Eevee now owns a black and red parasol.
I feel like Eevee would just own a parasol.
I get the feeling that Eevee owns a lot of like random add-ons that aren't covered by the sleeves, like different pieces of jewelry and stuff. Between me and the Tengu.
Ready. So unfortunately, I do have to head off
Yeah,
before before
You
Sean does,
go.
because I have a very early
I'll
meeting
hold.
tomorrow.
I'll hold down the fort until Sean shows up and gets us off the air. Thank you, everybody who decided to stay this long.
So catch you at the weekend or in June,
Oh.
whichever comes first.
Yes, yes. I'll put updates once we're off of this. Oh boy.
Bye.
Sean, save us.
Sure.
Oh, this is going to mess up all the cameras, isn't it?
Oh
Right.
yeah, that's true.
Oh
Ah,
no!
there we go. Oh, only.
I can call.
Hang on, if I do this,
call-
is it better or worse? Okay, perfect.
You're not on the side that seems to be affected. The only person who is 30.
Either I have an old number or his phone is off.
Ah, okay. Cool. We pinged him. It's fine. Have we got anything else to plug?
I don't know. Maybe I'll do another campaign. I have time now.
Is this just you brainstorming, or is this?
I do
No.
seem to remember the Crystal Skies, Aurora.
Sadly, like it was really awkward in that like we got everyone together, we got essentially a session done, and then the plan fell apart because no one could do the dates anymore.
Was that
You know,
the?
I don't remember the discussion around.
Did I sign up for that one?
Yes, it was some of the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, was that the one where I was planning the pixie something?
It was the
Maybe.
one with some of the folks from the Acknowledging Arms.
Yes.
Where I was a bird person.
Yeah, you're a bird person. I think I was a pixie. I was a fair. I remember having some sort of fairy wings. I think I was tiny.
I remember that Sean was playing a mouse.
Yes,
a
the
mouse
mouse.
in a plane.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the mouse. That was a good
I
one.
I also need to roll out because I need the loo. So
All right.
tatty bye.
Now that they don't need to be players, I'm losing them one by one.
I'm going to head off as well as I knackered myself out before the stream by moving
Okay.
the tent downstairs.
Cool. I'll hold down. I don't know what I'm going to do now that I have no. Maybe I can get Rachel to join in and help us.
Laters, folks. Take care of yourselves.
Bye.
Ash, have you played Baldur's Gate 3 yet?
No.
That's weird. Feels very U-coded.
It is going to be very me coded, which is why I haven't started playing it.
I understand.
I've been
That just
hiding.
means that been hiding specifically from it.
Yes. Well, no, I know a little bit about it. I know about some of the the companions that you have. I'm sure I will fall in love with at least half of them because that's what I do.
Oh yeah, no, you're gonna fall. I can pick two which are so Ash coded it hurts.
Okay, I want to know which
One
two
of them
now.
is a half elf vampire.
Oh, yes, I know about him. Who's the other one?
Oh, Karlak, the muscle mummy. Everyone
Okay.
falls in love with Karlak. Like,
Well-
there's no going away from that fact.
Okay, then do I have an option that's less basic?
What than the muscle mummy? Oh.
No, the muscle mum.
I mean-
You picked the muscle mummy and you picked the edgy vampire boy. I know that they're the obvious choices for me, but I feel like I
Oh.
want. Let me have one that's got nuance.